Welcome to Southend TV. My name is Tracy Chapman and today I'm joined by Alex Bright, who is the Conservative candidate for the Conservative councillor, I should say, for the Southchurch Ward. It's really nice to meet you, Alex.
Thank you for having me, Tracy.
Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about you and your association with Southend.
Yes, yeah. So I've been councillor for a pretty short amount of time, really, relative to some of my colleagues. I was elected last year in May, so I've just been serving for about a year now, but loving every minute of it, so enjoying it very much. I was born and bred in Southend, so always been around and love Southend a lot. So
what school did you go to?
I actually went to two schools in my ward. I went to Southend High School for Girls for sixth form, but for secondary school I went to Thorpe Hall. But before that I also went to Wesley Junior School and then Fairways Primary School before that, so always...
Well, you've done really well in a short space of time because you're chair of something called the General Purposes Committee.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, and I'm sure that the public out there won't understand. Perhaps you could explain to us what your work is.
Yeah, it's a relatively small committee. We don't meet too often, but some of the more interesting things that we do oversee is things like the appointments of honorary aldermen and women, which is quite a new concept that came into the council under Andrew Mooring when he was mayor. Something he wanted to introduce. He saw that other towns had this and he liked that and wanted to introduce it here in Southend. So we oversee nominations for that, for councillors that have served for over 15 years with doing great work for Southend. We also oversee things like the appointments for Freedom of the Borough. So Rob Tinlin, who has just left us as the Chief Executive, having served us for many years, he was honoured with Freedom of the Borough as well, so we oversaw that appointment.
And what does that mean, Freedom of the Borough?
I suppose, well...
You run your ducks up there. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, I think it's more of an honorary title really, but it's kind of a recognition from the town to somebody that has done amazing work for the town. So. Yeah.
And Alex, you sit on some outside bodies. I understand the 1312 Squadron.
Yes, 1312 Squadron. They're the Air Cadets for Southend. I'm very proud to be part of them, and I'm pleased to say that I'm also connected with them for another year now. I actually went to their guest night on Friday, which was a fantastic affair. It was great to see how much the cadets love the squadron and what they get out of it. The squadron I'm always pleased to see on parade whenever I go to the St George's Day parade or Remembrance Sunday parades. They're always doing the town proud there as well.
How old are they, the cadets?
They go up to the age of 18, so and then once they reach 18 they have to move on, I think. So. Yeah.
And you're also on something called the Essex and Southend Outbound Committee, is that right?
Yes.
Outbound?
It's a charity organisation, and they meet in the town hall in the county.
And what do they do?
They're focused mainly on education and children and things like that. So.
Outside education, I presume?
Yes, yeah. It's more, my appointment to them is kind of representing Southend to kind of the Essex organisation, because obviously Southend is a unitary authority, but we do work together with the Essex County Council as well, because obviously Essex County Council doesn't have any authority in Southend, being in a unitary. Yeah.
Now there must be issues in Southchurch Ward. Is there anything you'd like to tell me about?
Yeah, I think the main issues that have come up, well, one of the issues that certainly came up when I was running for the seat was speeding and road safety. That's a big concern for many residents. I live in the ward, so I know firsthand kind of how much of an important issue that is for us.
And some of the roads are quite wide, aren't they?
Yeah,
which encourages people to
exactly. Yeah, they're wide, they're long, they're straight, so that's kind of, it does encourage people, as you say, to speed. But that obviously is very dangerous. We've got lots of schools in my ward. We've got 9 schools. So 9 schools, yeah, just in Southchurch Ward alone. That includes the independent schools. So you have a lot of school children walking to and from school, and that's very dangerous if people are speeding along the roads there. and it's also very noisy for the residents as well. So that's something that I'm certainly going to be working more on over the coming years.
Because it seems to work quite well outside the high schools, and the other school is, I can't remember the name of it, the other school along there.
Southchurch High School now it's called, yeah. I think it's next door to the
I thought
grammar
they'd
school.
changed names. And there, it seems to me, as someone who uses that road quite a bit, that it's difficult to speed. You are really pulled into a more constrained area, but that's all quite expensive to do, isn't it?
It is. I think we've got to be creative with how we tackle it. So I know that on Southchurch Boulevard outside Southend High School for Girls and now Southchurch High School, we have got the signs that light up that tell you if you're going over 30 miles an hour, and I think that they're good, because if you're driving along, maybe you're not inclined to be speeding, but it does remind you that perhaps you're just over the limit, and it will encourage you to slow down. And that's a cost-effective way, I think, to tackle the issue, whilst educating people what the speed limit is on the road and kind of flashing up and warning them as well. I'm aware that a lot of residents don't like speed bumps and that type of thing, so that might not be something we'd look to introduce, but as I say, we've got to be quite creative really with how we tackle the issue.
Yeah. That's very important for all of those of us that use the roads, particularly when we've got grandchildren as well out on those roads.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to you a little bit about business in Southend. Now, businesses in Southend are generally of the small and medium size, and people in Southend are very entrepreneurial. We do have some larger ones, and I understand a lot more to go ahead at the airport.
Yes.
What does Southend do to support those businesses in the area?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you mentioned the Airport Business Park, so that's a £150 million investment there, which I think I'm very excited about, and I think will be fantastic for the town. That will provide businesses with the opportunity to come in. We're looking to have high specification businesses in technologies and also the medical industry, and on that business park we'll be having a hotel and a pub and other facilities there as well. So that will certainly support the airport, hopefully, if we have that there, and will provide over 4,000 jobs as well. So businesses also are vital in providing jobs in the town as well. So that's one thing. In terms of what Southend does to support businesses, this is something I'm always very conscious of. I come from an entrepreneurial family. My parents have both kind of set up their businesses from scratch, so I know exactly what the challenges are for families and businesses. But for example, parking. I know you've spoken to some other councillors before on this issue, but it is a big issue. It is a big issue. Big issue for the residents, shoppers and tourists, visitors and businesses. I mean, in that regard, we're currently looking at increasing parking capacity in the town. We've also agreed some investment in signage, so that when visitors come to the town, we can direct them to the best places to park, and perhaps sometimes the more well-known car parks that tend to get filled up more quickly. If we can direct them to some of the less well-known car parks, then that would be great. We've also frozen car parking charges, which I think is important for, as I say, people coming into the town to shop or visit Southend. And in some places we're also we have reduced parking charges for longer stays as well, so encouraging people to stay in Southend for longer, which will help businesses as well in the long run.
One question that's come up again and again is the high street, and the need for that to smarten up a little bit and to encourage more businesses into the town centre. What is Southend doing to help everyone, particularly now that British Home Stores has gone? That doesn't look very good. Yes,
no, I completely agree with you. I think, and I know a lot of the residents feel the same, I think we've got to do better in terms of our high street. I think, as you say, we do need to smarten it up, and it needs to be an attractive place for people to want to come and visit and shop. I think the way the economy is changing, obviously the way people shop is changing. A lot of people shop online now, or perhaps use shops to kind of browse for what they want and then go home and find it cheaper online. So the way people use the high street has changed undoubtedly. Southend Bid, which I know some other councillors have also mentioned before.
Can we just explain to everyone what Southend Bid is?
The Bid is the Business Improvement District. So they do, they're kind of an organisation of all of the businesses really, or the businesses that want to be part of it, in the high street and in the town centre, and they work together to try and improve the area of the high street. And they're doing some good work, I think, with the British Home Stores. I mean, it was a shame to see it go, obviously, and that's kind of left a bit of a black hole in our high street. But BID have put up some boarding there to try and, with some artwork on it, to try and make it look a bit smarter in the meantime until we can get that filled. So there are ways that we can try to make the high street look a bit more attractive. But as I say, I think we've got some more work to do on that.
The artwork is quite interesting because particularly along the Southend seafront, there's some artwork that's gone up there.
Yes.
The graffiti type artwork. Some of it is stunning.
It is. Yeah.
What happens to that when the hoardings go?
I'm not sure. I don't know whether that'll go into a gallery or something.
Because they're really good. Some of them
they are.
Aren't they?
Yes. Yeah. That was a community project. I think that the community kind of wanted to get involved. I think that was something that the previous mayor, Judy McMahon, was very passionate about, was art and culture in the town. And I know a group of artists wanted to get involved there to try and make something a bit more creative with the boarding that would otherwise be a bit bland or dull or not very attractive. So yes, yeah, that does
It's
look
a good cheap way of brightening the town up.
It is, yeah.
Along the seafront there's a new lagoon that's gone in and people
Yes.
are beginning to moan about rubbish
Right.
that's in the lagoon and some
Yes.
algae. I just wondered how often that was checked. Do you know anything about that? Do people go down there and make sure that it's safe?
I don't know too much about that. I know it is monitored. My council colleague, who is also my ward colleague in Southchurch Ward, Councillor Anne Holland, that's her portfolio, and I know she's very aware of the issue. I know she's been down to visit the lagoon just a few days ago, actually. So I know that it is being monitored and that they're doing whatever they can to keep it as attractive as possible. I actually was there the other day, just having a look at it, inspecting it. So
because it looks quite good. I mean, it's beginning. That whole area of the seafront is beginning to look more interesting now.
It is, yeah.
We've got a really good restaurant along there, and all those little beach huts that are going up look
Yeah.
fantastic, don't they? And
I mean,
one's on the pier.
And it's quite something to get excited about toilets, but there was some toilets next to the lagoon that actually looked very appealing, very attractive. I think we've been quite clever there. We've kind of made them look a bit like beach huts, and they were being well used as well. So I think.
Do you think we have enough public facilities on the seafront?
I think we're certainly improving the amount of facilities. Whether we've got enough or not, we could probably do with some more. Unfortunately, in the past, it's been the case we've had to close toilets down. Perhaps they've got kind of into disrepair or beyond repair, really. But I think we as a council are aware of what residents want and what tourists want as well, and what visitors want. And I think if we are going to attract as many people to come to Southend as possible, then we have to provide these facilities, and they have to be kept clean and of good standard. So, for example, like the facilities next to the lagoon, we've got to make sure that they are of high standard. So I think we've got to continue to invest in the seafront as well.
And the nighttime economy is a big thing in Southend. Does that get plenty of support from the council?
It does, yes. Yeah, I know that, again, that's something we're very keen on doing, on supporting. I was actually really pleased, and I tweeted it yesterday, to see Revolution Bar that's just opened in the old HMV. I went there the other day and was very impressed by it. And we need more businesses like that. I've always said this, we need more bars, more pubs, more clubs. And I know some residents will probably be worrying about me saying that, because that with that does perhaps bring some antisocial behaviour, or we might need more enforcement or whatever. But we've got to have a thriving nighttime economy. We've got lots of young people in the town. When I was younger, I used to go out in Southend, so I know what it's like to try and go out for a night out in Southend. And I've been personally disappointed to see some bars close and over the time. So it's fantastic to see people like Revolution in Southend opening up and hopefully starting to buck the trend a bit.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to say to people in your ward?
I think perhaps to Shoeburyness residents, if I may, whilst we've got a general election coming up on the 8th of June, I'd like to remind those in Shoeburyness that we've also got a by-election this Thursday on the 25th of May. I've been out supporting our candidate, Val Jarvis, who's fantastic. So I would like to encourage everybody over in that ward to get out there and to vote and to hopefully support Val.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank
It's
you
been a
very
pleasure
much.
to meet you.
Thank you.
Remember, everyone, there is a general election on the 8th of June. Please do go out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you.